If you love someone and they love you back, that's great. If you love someone, they love you back, and you guys are together, that's super great. But if you love someone, they love you back, and still you guys are not together, maybe you guys are not meant to be. And maybe that's completely okay. A very good evening to my dear fellow Toastmasters and guests. 2 years back, that's how I consoled myself when I had to let go of him. Because the societal norms did not approve of us. And I thought this was it. I was not going to love ever again. No matter how hard I tried, I could never escape from the past that felt eternal. And I don't think I need any special instances to make millennial feel starting to break up. My parents were no one. I had to move on and look for happiness at the places I thought never existed. Last year, as I turned 30, I realized that I was doing something wrong with my life. I fell for a romantic relationship so I could find someone by my side with whom I could share my good and bad times, around whom I could sleep every night without having the fear of being cheated upon, and with whom I could create a family of my own so my parents would be assured that I would not be left alone during the end of my life. The goal was to create one such life wherein I felt emotionally secured and not wasted. Then what was the harm in trying to find that solace in someone else? After much apprehension in my head, I finally created my profile on Jeevansathi with the hope that I could find a match in the next 1 or 2 years. Sad, I was not going to have a love marriage anymore. Jyoti, this guy is too elder for you. Jyoti, this guy works in Bangalore. We don't want you to relocate. Jyoti, this guy is not from Punjab. We can't feel a connect to the family. Oh my God, there were a series of rejections. Finally, after much R&D, when I told my parents about the fifth guy, who seemed quite close to what my family was looking for, within half an hour, they said, Jyoti, your horoscope doesn't match. We don't see a scope. Damn, this hit hard. When my parents ignored the guy within seconds. On the contrary, I could not. And that was the first time I talked to Manish. My intuition fell for his genuineness. And I couldn't stop myself from thinking about him for the next few days. Eventually, we started talking on and off. And finally, we decided to meet at least once. Now, to be honest with you guys, Manish's first impression was not pleasant. He looked completely different from the pictures he had on Jeevansathi. I couldn't even relate to the conversations we used to have on call. Yet, the feeling that he was a nice and a decent man to be around remained intact. When we met for the second time, one of his friends came along. So I preferred talking to more of his friends and ignored him. As we were leaving, Manish handed over me a box of homemade laddus. And that little gesture of hospitality eased down the awkwardness again. When we met for the third time, I again felt very disinterested around him. And I thought he was definitely not the one. Ironically, call it crazy, we ended up having a conversation on what had brought us together in the first place. We talked in detail about what we were looking for in a future partner. And for the first time, I felt that this guy was here for some serious stuff. In the next few days, we talked to our families and we somehow convinced them to at least meet each other once. I particularly had to take my family in confidence because horoscope match was a huge obstacle for them, which was not being met with Manish at all. Now, after much obstacles, much ups and downs, today we are here, having known each other for more than a year, engaged, and looking forward to get married next month. Yes, guys, you heard it right. The girl who never missed even a single Toastmasters meeting in the last 1 year is busy making arrangements for her wedding happening on November 27, 2020. And you all are invited. Forget about the lockdown restrictions. Now, if you guys understand, my Pathways Level 5 Project 1 talks about this monumental event of my life, which has, and will always require my absolute commitment and patience to make it work. I am all wired up. And if you guys are wondering, why did I choose to talk about someone who left and not just about someone who decided to stay? Well, sometimes love finds itself in the same places you lost it once. Who should be elder in a relationship? Who should be financially more stable? Whose horoscope compatibility is better with you? Nothing of such sort mattered to Manish and his family, which eventually gave me the confidence to have patience and find my ways to work out with a guy whose choices for life are entirely different than me. We are still not those lovebirds according to the romantic relationships that we look around, but we are fine. And I'm sure we'll continue to be fine in the journey of life. During my bad days, guys, Toastmaster was that one salvage for me wherein I could pour my heart out as a public speaker without being judged, without being misunderstood, and to be accepted wholeheartedly. I found love in spending time with you guys, partying every Thursday night, working hard to make this club a better place, and of course, find great friends in many of you. And today, when I'm entering the next phase of my life, I wanted to share it with all of you officially because you guys have been through me, through all the thick and things that I had in my life. Now, before I end my speech, I have a special surprise for all of you. And I hope my content